The FDA released new guidelines on COVID vaccines last week, and experts have some notes. A new bill from Rhode Island is empowering pharmacists' ability to provide patient care, and APhA leaders are being recognized as the voices to follow in pharmacy. That's just some of what we're talking about on today's RX Report, where you get your health, your news delivered. I'm your host, Manuel, coming to you from the home of pharmacy at the American Pharmacists Association in Washington, D.C. We've got a lot to get into today, so be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, leave a comment on anything that we talk about today, and let's dive in. The FDA have been some busy bees in recent memory, as we've talked about on this show a few times before. Among other things in the past year, the FDA has begun making steps towards phasing out synthetic food dyes, increased oversight on ultra-processed foods, and is doing all of this while undergoing some substantial layoffs. That's a heck of a workload on top of the run-of-the-mill things that the FDA does. Normal things like ensuring the overall safety of food, drugs, medical devices, makeup, and veterinary drugs in America, just to name a few. Last week, the FDA approved this season's COVID-19 vaccines, but with some restrictions around them that have caused some confusion. The FDA officially announced that the vaccines were approved, but only for people who are over the age of 65, and those from 6 months to 64 years who are with underlying medical conditions. For comparison's sake, past COVID-19 vaccines were recommended and readily available to anyone over 6 months of age. So going from that to just the winners over 65, that's what you might kind of call a big deal. Understandably, this decision is expected to make getting a COVID shot much more of a hassle than it has been in the past. And with the expected winter COVID surge coming right around the corner, some experts are concerned, like Claire Hanna, the executive director of the Association of Immunization Managers, who said in an interview with NPR that, quote, "I'm feeling a little deja vu. There's a lot of anxiety about being able to get the vaccine." APHA's Bridget Groves, Vice President of Professional Affairs, also gave remarks on the matter, saying this.
Because of that uncertainty, it is putting a lot of hesitancy among pharmacists and patients around what that coverage may actually look like at the end of the day.
Now, the FDA has justified this change by saying that most of the country has immunity to the illness at this point. They have also questioned the safety and effectiveness of the vaccine, going against what scientific evidence and public health experts have recommended. In addition, we spoke last week on how recommendations for COVID vaccinations for young children and pregnant people were going to be dropped by the FDA and CDC. And with this new development making it official, we can really only guess where the effects of this policy will go. For the record, just because the FDA does not recommend getting the shot, that doesn't mean you straight up can't get it. But it does mean the shot potentially will not be covered by insurance, resulting in the cost being reportedly $200 or higher per shot, which is simply a non-starter for many Americans. With that in mind, what are your thoughts around COVID vaccines becoming less accessible for the public? If you're a pharmacist, how do you think this will affect your practice and patients? Let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, COVID-19 was a poignant moment for our history, and it continues to affect millions, especially through long COVID, which can persist for months or even years. APHA's newest resource, Focus on COVID-19 Test to Treat Services, outlines current antiviral options, eligibility criteria, treatment timing, and actionable strategies for identifying patients that may benefit from treatment. Take your patients from symptoms to solutions. Download your free copy at the link in the description. We'll get to our next story in a moment, but first, APHA members, it's election season. Get ready to meet your 2025 APHA Board of Trustees and Community Leadership candidates, ready to shape the future of the profession. Do you want to meet your candidates? Then join our virtual Meet the Candidates Forum on September 23rd at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time and hear directly from them. You can learn more and explore the full slate of candidates at pharmacist.com/elections. To sign up for the virtual Meet the Candidates Forum, the link will be in the description below. For our next story, it's time for some humble brags. Alex C. Varkey, APHA's immediate past president, has been named the 2025 Clifton J. LaChalais Leadership Award recipient by the Ohio State University College of Pharmacy. For nearly 2 decades, Alex has been a driving force in the profession, serving APHA in numerous roles, including as our 169th president. His leadership has advanced pharmacy practice, championed innovation, and mentored the next generation of pharmacist leaders. The LaChalais Award honors individuals whose career reflect the values and vision of Cliff LaChalais, a pioneer in institutional pharmacy. Alex's career reflects that standard of innovation, service, and impact. We are proud to celebrate Alex's achievements and congratulate him on this well-deserved recognition. But he's not the only one making waves. In addition to our past president, our incoming president, Magali Rodriguez de Bittner, and APhA member Amy Kruger Howard were also named the new fellows for their outstanding service to the pharmacy profession. Their recognition was announced during the 83rd World Congress of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences in Copenhagen, Denmark. And speaking of international recognition, there's another exciting milestone to share. At the very same 83rd World Congress of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences in Copenhagen, APhA and the Korean Pharmaceutical Association signed a new memorandum of understanding. This partnership expands cooperation on pharmacist-led vaccination, education, and training, strengthening the ties between our two organizations and advancing the global role of pharmacists. With pharmacist-led vaccination already in 56 countries, this agreement helps pave the way for an even broader role in global healthcare. Well done, all. For our last story, tell me if this story rings a bell for you. You take your meds one morning and realize that the bottle is running low, so you call in a refill. The pharmacy calls back and says you're out of refills and you need a new prescription. You need the pills kind of now, though, and who knows how long it's going to take to contact Dr. Handsome on his luxury cruise to get your strongly needed medication. Okay, maybe that last part was just me, but you get the point. Not having access to your medications when you need them can be scary, especially when your prescriber can't be reached or as a patient you no longer have a prescribing healthcare provider. But of all places, Rhode Island has you covered. Yes, the state's so small that the only thing that we can fit in it is really clam chowder and tax evasion is officially doing pharmacists and patients a solid with a newly passed bill that allows pharmacists to provide up to 100 days of continuing medication for some substances without a updated prescription when the provider cannot be reached. The bill, known by the sexy name of RIH 5633, was sponsored by Representative Michelle McGaugh, who is a pharmacist herself. She said on the bill passing that, quote, Rhode Island, like so many states across the country, is facing some significant shortages in providers. We are looking at opportunities for pharmacists to help fit that gap. The bill ensures patients won't have a gap in care for conditions they're already being treated for. Long and short, that's great news. I feel like so often I have to give bad news, but this is a no doubt great step forward for patients and pharmacists alike, trying to give and receive the care they need. Now, at least 22 other states have laws in place to cover a prescription gap between 3 to 30 days, which is a good start, admittedly. But Dr. Handsome's cruise might be a bit longer than that, so we need to be reaching Rhode Island's new standard, as that might be a goal worth reaching. But what do you think, though? Will having these bills in place help support patient care? Are there dangers that the bill is enabling? Let me know in those comments. And that is our show. If this episode made you want to take a cruise with Dr. Handsome, then maybe hit that like and subscribe button. What were your thoughts on the stories that we talked about today? Be sure to let me know in those comments below, and maybe we'll bring it up on the next show. Our executive producer is Rob Hodges. Our creative producer is Kate Erdmann. And until next time, I've been your host, Mason Manuel. Be sure to tune in next Friday for more RX Report, where you get your health, your news delivered. But till then, bye y'all.